We need to give them like metrics where we can test, like basically hold them accountable. You don't have X-ray technologists to support. You have X-ray machines.
Yeah, I think that's what he was telling, right? His main thing is to remove the carbon tax.
Trudeau expecting hopefully to resign earlier.
They have a facility with all the infrastructure in place. What they lack is skill.
2024 is the year I cleared my debt.
I want to see transparent governance. That is something I look forward to, and I hope that we can achieve. And this comes in light after obviously the recent US election, how that's played out.
We gave a return of around 39% return, right? Rate of return on their investment. And the majority of my clients got 30% rate of return. Some got anywhere between 16 to 25, whatever, right? On average. This year I want to make sure, irrespective of how government behaves, how the market behaves, I want to make sure that I keep my clients' portfolio grow. I want to see them grow. I want to see myself grow, right? I want to make sure that my clients always stay positive. What do you think, how will be the conditions in Canada in 2025?
Well, it definitely is. It's a very crucial year considering Trump's second term. He's coming in on January 20th. I think it's the inauguration day. Yeah, so I think it is understandable that the tariffs are definitely kicking in. So it will definitely be a crucial year for Canada, considering the political turmoil we are in already, with Trudeau expecting hopefully to resign earlier than the end of the term, or be voted out in the election this fall or later this year. It will be interesting to see how Canada responds to the Trump's tariffs. Most likely they're going to kick in as soon as Trump resumes office January 20th. Nonetheless, considering the position we are in with the inflation that we've experienced and the current market conditions, but I do expect a lot of turmoil. I don't see this being a very good year. I think we're gonna see some downturn. Obviously, our projections are for economic growth are less, like 1.5 to 2% annually, which is not at par with a lot of growing economies. So wait and watch.
Is it going to be, so you are expecting 1.5 to 2% this year? Or?
Yeah, this year, and then we'll have to see, because this year is also election year. So whenever Pierre Poilievre or Max maybe, but the next year and the future will depend a lot on how they take on the challenges that we are facing currently, and how radically they shift the direction that they shift from the direction that we are already on.
Ajesh, what's your opinion on?
Most of the situations coming as like unpredictable. So of course, like majority of the Canadian government or like US, but I cannot say like US, but yeah, Canadian market is a lot of getting down, and a lot of impact on people. Like already the scare, like the people already started getting scared of like what's going to happen. There's still like uncertainty is there in everyone, but we are not sure. Like even the current government is, I don't know when it's going to collapse, or new government will be getting formed, or the new decisions. Maybe the new like the Poilievre, the new the conservatives are like get like focused to get into the market. Yeah, the conservatives are getting thinking about forming the government, but I don't know where their agenda will make a difference in Canadian government. But Trudeau, it's already collapsed as of now. The government, as even everyone is expecting the new government, and not sure like how the conservatives will work with with the Trump. So maybe if they both come together closer to work, maybe that can change the Canadian face to a brighter side. But right now, I cannot say anything like what's going to happen. But a lot of changes already started before he getting out of the presidency role.
Why do you say that we cannot predict the economy?
But based on the decisions, like of course, mostly I don't know. Like Trudeau is always thinking of I don't, because mostly the conservatives and like with the Biden's government, they are mutually understandable. But the Trump's is always a different way of thinking and different way of policy. Even he's coming up to add on the Canadian as a 51st state in the US. But of course, that cannot be happened though. But still, his face of mind, maybe it never happened. Maybe he's putting a stone on like Canadian things like, yeah, just join as a 51 state, so we'll make you a governor.
Yeah, I
So
think he
that
keeps teasing us.
yes, but I don't know. It's just a funny statement. It's realistically, I don't know whether it will be happen,
No,
but
yeah.
it never, of course. But it's just he's saying that he's thinking of Canadian government is like just a light. He's not even, of course, not only Canada. He is not taking care of like taking seriously in any country. So he thinks that he's a king. So he's a kingmaker. Uh,
Not just this year, right? Anytime when there is a change in government, right? There is going to be a lot of expectation on the person who is going to take take the role of being the president
Yes.
of the country. No, not just US. It could
Yeah,
be any
yeah,
other
yeah.
country. But why US is just now being very focused? Because when the last time when the same person was elected, there was a lot of chaos in terms of not in terms of understanding the the strategy of that person. It took a while for everyone, but he has given a lot of hope to the people within the country of United States, and he has made some magic in the market. Maybe the strategy what he wanted to implement was different than the other other person who was ruling the country in the past. And even now, what I'm more hoping to see what strategy he is currently having. Even before he taking up the role, or before he comes sit in the chair, there are a lot of news, or you can say a lot of opinion that are kept on his trend. Probably it is not his strategy at this point, but all these opinions will give him a thought of why not I can go ahead and try this, and make use of it and implement it. So it can be either side. It may make the economy grow well, both for US and for for North America and across the country, or across the world. And it can also go negative, or it can be stable.
I think I'm very highly optimistic on the future in that regards. Trump had uh, put out clear mandates and directions as to where he wants to take the country, USA, during his election campaign. He was outspoken about a lot of ideas that he had. Obviously, illegal immigration, the deregulation part with Elon Musk and Vivek now. Um, Obviously, the health industry, the military industrial complex with Robert Kennedy and Tulsi. So he was already very outspoken to begin with. And the election result speaks out loud and very clearly what the people have voted him for. He has got a clear mandate to enact on like, and act on those very promises that he made. So I think it will be a very easy term for him coming in now. Now, why is he different from the other guy? Like he's a very unique character. This is not a traditional politician who has to play well with everybody. He does not try to play well with everybody. He is not that guy, and I think that's where a lot of people dislike him, and you see a lot of garbage and then like everything thrown at him, like people going after, like media obviously going after him, is because he's not your traditional politician who will play well and speak nicely and speak polished English in media. He will speak his thoughts that and people, I don't know why, but they usually get offended by him, and that's why during his first term he was banned from Twitter. This is sitting US president, and he was banned from Twitter. So the Second Amendment in US states you have freedom of speech, which was clearly not, that was not, except basically that was not in favor of the president of the United States at the time. But however, like I said, this time around, people are a lot more aware. I have to say, 2024, the biggest thing, Elon Musk buying X and allowing people to exchange and the free flowing information and conversations happening on the platform made people a lot aware of what exactly is happening. All the gaslighting that the old left government, and obviously the mainstream media has been playing along for a long time. So I feel very highly optimistic. Hopefully, a lot of the other. I think U.S. Like Trump will take the world in the right direction. Obviously, starting with U.S. because the world follows where U.S. U.S. is a leader, and world follows where it goes.
But coming back to the economic condition in Canada, yeah, Trump's going to come into office in another 20 days, let's say 20 days. But how about I do not see much impact of Trump coming into Canada as of now, at least until for the next 8 months, I would say 9 months.
I'd like to disagree to that because, like, so he's already been outspoken on and been very harsh on the immigration and the border front. So if Trudeau, and which he was already warned about, like a month leading into his inauguration day. So if Canada does not act on that, we definitely should expect that 25% tariffs to kick in. And if that does happen, it will affect a lot of jobs, a lot of the interest rate. The dollar is already taking a hit. Like we're already like to a 14-year-old low on, like, compared to the US dollar. So
Yes, yeah, I agree with him because before he take over the White House, uh, already we have seen like last month, like December, there are a lot of immigration restrictions where the borders has been from U.S. side. Once he has a strong policy of restricting the immigrants to U.S., automatically the Canadian government has to restrict our borders too, because that's where the economy, like that's the reason the immigration minister of Canada has been stopped many of the immigrants. Like there are a lot of immigration policies has been stopped, like other immigrants like coming to our country, or border restrictions, and even the what do you call the carpool, there's a
yeah,
that is also has been
Flat
stopped.
poll.
Yeah, flat pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing where they stopped recently.
there's other Indian government, I think, brought out, right? Like there was like 200 or 2,000 Canadian colleges.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah, they are human trafficking, right?
yeah, basically
Yes.
yeah, trafficking humans through illegal.
Yeah, recently I did met with some students from a particular college, and these kids, they came from all over the world. So I know some people from Ghana, some people from Nigeria, some Asians in the sense, not like the Asians the term that we are seeing on X now, but Asians means proper Asians, Filipinos and Indians, obviously. So I heard that 95% is the dropout right now. Dropout, or the thing is, college admitted all the students from abroad. They paid huge amount of fee, like more than three times, I think, three times of the fee that the local students are paying, right? And they fail. All the students that came from abroad, they are dropped. Like 90% of the people, 95% of the people are dropped. And when the question comes to, okay, what happens to them next, they said, okay, you can go to another college, another campus for the same college. Go there, they will give you admission in another seat in the same stream. Like for example, nursing, right? I heard, yeah, everything that I'm talking about is nursing because I know students from nursing who did the course there, right? So they dropped them from core nursing and now ask them to take another course in nursing, like whatever management side or project management in medical side, whatever, right? And all these students, they paid the fee. They are asked to drop. They are dropped out. They're asked to take another course. They have to pay another three times of fee, and then some people are dropped again, some people passed, and like this is a scam kind of, right? So yeah, whatever I heard about in the news about this, I would not say this is human trafficking because students came from willingly from back home, right? Whatever country they're coming from, they came willingly, but colleges giving them admission and then looting them.
Yeah, but they were Ponzi schemes. Yeah.
Yeah, so they gave them admission. If they are so bad in education, how did they get the seat in the first place, right? They did the background verification for all these kids. They admitted them and then they dropped. That's very bad, by the way. But that's entirely different. So I'm coming back to the economy wise. Yes, the topic is also kind of into, but that's too deep. It's not that directly related to the economy. But in terms of economy, for the past 2 years, the economy is almost dead, drop dead. There's nothing. People lost jobs, no businesses, companies are closing down, companies are shutting down. Some people went bankrupt, some people became homeless. Most of the people lost their jobs, right? And again, the most of the people are added into economy in terms of, like not in terms of, like I would say, in the name of what you call temporary worker or whatever. And these people, they don't have jobs. Economy is very slow, but that's past now. We are into new year. Myth, you mentioned that the economy is going to be slow, or what you gave a number 1.5 to 2%. But why do you think it will be so low? 1.5 is actually a good number, but it's a kind of
It's not a very good number because inflation is that much, and now you're growing economy by that much. So the reason why and I really like to compare here with states. So when US had this election, like I said, people gave a clear mandate to the upcoming administration as to what they want to do. Stop illegal immigration, put a curb on it, basically deport a lot of whoever illegal came here. Freedom of speech. Outside wars is not our wars, so just take care of our people first. No funding foreign wars, basically. Taking care of health, deregulation, and we've already seen the groundwork the laid up leading into the inauguration day. So we will see this happen, and like, so people basically gave a clear mandate to the upcoming administration, and the upcoming administration now has a clear mandate to enact on those promises with the dream team, actually. So Trump has, it's not just Trump, all right? Like, Trump has a dream team going in with this administration. You have deregulation minister with Elon Musk and Vivek. You have Robert Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard, a lot of good picks across the board. Most of them, I should say. So he has that dream team that you need to enact and make those radical changes that the country needs at the time. Comparing that to Canada, apart from Pierre Poilievre, we've not seen that many people step up. I've seen, actually, I should say, there are some people who are stepping up, but we haven't seen that level of political activism amongst the citizens. We've not seen a clear. It's hard to sense. I shouldn't say we haven't seen, but it's hard to sense the sentiment of the country um, on multiple fronts, on X, for example, or even outside. So for Canada to take that radical route, we need to give a clear mandate to the upcoming administration, and they need to have that kind of a dream team that has the track record, and that will make those decisions, the hard decisions, and turn this 180 around, basically. So that's the reason why I'm a bit iffy. Again, I'm hopeful. Obviously, everything's, but like, comparing to Trudeau is a low bar. Like,
Yeah.
so when Pierre Poilievre or whoever comes in the next administration, we cannot compare them to what the Liberal administration has done, because that is in itself a very low bar. And you compare, so let's say, for example, Trudeau did 20% of the work, and now let's say Pierre Poilievre or the Conservatives come in and they're doing now 40% of the work. Are we going to be happy with just 40% of the work, where you could have pushed that, really pushed that envelope right into 80, 90, or 100%, like the US is on track to do, hopefully, is at least what I'm hopeful of. I think they're going to push that really hard, and I don't see that kind of radical hard push on the Canadian side. So I think most of the people will be just happy Pierre Poilievre or Conservatives doing just the bare minimum, like 40%, because he still has to tread carefully, right? Like, he still has to play nice with the communities.
Yeah.
It's all vote bank politics. So it'll be interesting to see. But like I said, I'm very highly optimistic on the US side, and I'm hopeful on the Canadian side. Hopefully they do better. But we'll see. I'm not that highly optimistic.
in terms, even if Pierre Poilievre comes
Yeah.
into.
Even if he comes in, because like I said, and we saw this on X, right? Like, we've been following election campaign for the US last year. We saw people voicing, clear issues, and these issues were not just very minimal issues. These were big topics. Abortion was one of them. Obviously, the illegal immigration was second of them. Freedom of speech came to light with obviously X now allowing that to happen. Obviously, the other wars that are happening, and US still funding them, etc. Deregulation being a big one of them. So we have seen a lot of big topics spoken upon during the campaign, and I don't see that happening on the Canadian side, at least not as much. I think the number one thing I see here is in regards to immigration, and rightfully so. I don't disagree. But we need that multifaceted approach. It's not just one problem, right?
Yes, because I see like US has a good administration team under the Trump, so they had like thought process what they want to do and how they want to make US great. So like a lot of people they have come up with agenda, like a lot of things what they want to do, like exactly like immigration or like other things or GDP like growth rate, like how they want technology wise. But to see with Canadian government, except the Oliver, I don't know, like they have a good administration team, like they all come up with some agenda, like how to make like Canada great. Like they are thinking, like US, the Trump was like the main agenda was to make America great. But whether the Canadian team, like Oliver or like which his team has that agenda to make, of course, there are three things which they always focus on: immigration and the housing,
That is right.
and also the tax, only the carbon tax. Except three things, I don't listen Oliver talking about anything about the agenda in the
I
Canadian.
so agree. Yeah.
Only three things. If whenever I saw his speech or in the parliament, or of course they are offending they are putting everything thrown on the liberals, just on the tax, carbon tax, axe the tax. I always
Yeah.
hear about this word, axe the tax. Yes, that is one thing you need to do, and also the housing criteria. Yes, that is drastically because we have increased one of the top now and the list of like debt in the top G7
Yeah.
countries in the housing. Yep, of course that is a great thing to reduce the debt and everything. Of course, he's a housing minister previously, and he want to cut off that, and also the secure immigration. Three things I always hear, but there are a lot of other things. How to increase the economy of the Canadian economy, like what are those things where you can act on. That I never heard of any of the like ministers or like whether they have any agenda on that. And also like security wise, I don't see anything because there are a lot of things happening in past 5 to 6 years, and there shots been happening. I don't know. I didn't see any opposition government has like said about these things like regulations or thing coming up, like what are the new things, like of course the dealings with the other like the trading between the US and other countries, how you can like improve. Of course we having Alberta has a lot of gas and everything, the oil reserve, but how you are using in a productive way to increase the economy of the country. But targeting the simple things, what is like where the liberals are failed. Of course liberals are failed in certain things, and you are focusing only on that to get into the power. That doesn't make Canada great. So because they have to identify, first thing is you need to make the Canada rich, like economy wise. Then only like you can have a lot of like you can encourage the immigrants, and you can provide the job opportunities to many people, and you can of course we can become a debt free. So that's what my thinking process. But yeah, we need to have a good team first of all.
The next government, whoever is going to take it up in next 10 months time, I won't know, if it is going to be the same government which is going to continue, which may happen magically by, if that is
Let's hope not.
or if there is going to be new government. One is if we are sinking, let's say, if the economy is sinking, how we can how the government can make it not to sink is like bringing it to the level of the water, to the level where it won't sink is the first focus. Like wherever the current government has failed, or where the gap has been made, that needs to be obviously sealed. And next focus is to raise above the ground. So that should be a clear agenda, right? And I'm more anticipating to see in the upcoming speech that will happen in next 10 months timeline on what is their agenda when they come into the power to bring the country more better in terms of economy. what will make them, what are the various plans. So one I know, anyone who have a common sense will clearly say there is a problem with immigration.
Yes.
There is a loss in the job market, right? So there is a problem with the labor. There is a problem in the labor market. It is because there is a increase in the number of people inside the country, so there is not enough job available in the country, right? So now there should be a plan than that directly just attacking with the problem or what where it went fail. How I'm going to come up, to take care of it, right? Or let's say rather than only focusing on the problem during the speech, they will also talk about certain solution or what is the idea in the pipeline. Not the change anytime. It's not going to happen overnight.
I think they
Especially,
definitely said they wanted to increase the cap on number of barrels or whatever we're allowed to do that now. The reason why we put those caps was because Trudeau had to meet their Paris Accord targets, um, and so I think that's one thing that Pierre will definitely do.
economy, right? What is your line of thinking with the interest rates? Because the elections are coming, and in the last 3 4 months time, we are seeing a reduction in the overall bank interest rates that are going down. So basically, the last 3 4 months, I think 4 months now so far. So the Bank of Canada has started reducing the interest rate on the mortgages. And with the new beginning of the year and the elections are coming up in next few months, what 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 is your opinion? In total of, are you going to see this is going to sustain? In the current way, or do you think it's going to go low, or hoping it's going to be having some kind of inflation this year? It may go up either, right? So what is your view with the
Yeah, I think the recent cuts in the policy rates by Bank of Canada, I think they're more of a desperate attempt to keep the economy afloat because people are not left with disposable income at the end of the day. The extreme high interest, they aren't extreme, but the high interest rates like 6 7%, it's not sustainable with the economy that we have right now, and they're more the cuts were more desperate to prevent a bigger collapse in the market. um, and I think we should see. Well, U.S. said they're gonna they're gonna there's gonna be like couple rate cuts next year. For us in here at Canada, I would say we should see some rate cuts going into the year. But however, we are at the mercy of well, we're not at the mercy, but like the biggest impact will be on the dollar. So our dollar will basically lose value against the US dollar if the interest rates keeps going. We need to keep the interest. The other point is you need to keep interest rate high enough to collect all the money that's been circulating back. So we'll see how this year plays, but yeah, we should see at least a couple rate cuts. Hopefully going back into the 2.5%. But
Yeah, I remember reading somewhere like some of the experts from the banks, they have a prediction which the interest rate may go up to 2.5.
that's right.
2.5 to 3 is where the
That's right.
path will
Yeah.
be the next move before the election. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that's that, and um that's where we would probably see. But like I said, the only downside to that is the dollar value will take a hit against the US. What that means is higher cost, higher cost for everything else, because you're trying to prevent that market collapse. So
Yeah, recently, Bank of Canada did said they gave us particular dates, like mark these 6 dates, I think, and then they did not say anything about whether they're going to drop, or they said that's the date for rations. Sorry, not ration decision for interest rates for upcoming for this year. I was going through somebody's post on X, but he said we may expect up to two. 2%. I don't know if we can go back to 2%.
Yeah, it will be a very disastrous.
But maybe for individual it might be a good for individuals. But I don't know. Yeah, for the country, I think it is.
Yeah, like whoever's on variable, it's a good thing going back to 2%. But like you said, like you're trying to prevent a bigger market collapse. So what does that? So what happens if we don't cut the interest rate? Well, the housing market collapses. You have people suffer loss in property value. And we already see that, by the way, right now. There are even in Brampton, GTA, a lot of houses they're selling at 500, 600K. At a loss basically. So they're trying to prevent that, but on the other hand, you have to keep in mind, if you keep cutting interest rate and you don't collect dollars, it affects like one way or the other.
Yeah, interest rates. I do agree that interest rates will have an impact, but I do not think they may have some kind of positive impacts, because the higher interest rates leads to higher cost of everything, cost of production, cost of, because just most of the companies operate on lending.
Yeah, but you want higher interest rate because you want to collect back all the dollars that you pay, you printed basically, because there is so much in circulation. That's why the inflation's high, and now the inflation's high. You have, like, if the inflation's high, you have to cut back, and that's when the economy contracts. Or that's with interest rate. Either that, or you make changes in your like fiscal, basically the budget, on your spending control, like spending control and everything. And we should see that too. So
Yeah, the housing market. I'm looking at somebody bought it up. I think I just bought it up just now, 5 minutes ago, regarding the housing market. I did see some examples like a house listed for 2 million. I think just went for 1.3.
that's right. Yeah.
Right, and that is in
That
it's in Oakville, I think.
Yeah,
Oakville,
Oakville
Brampton,
in everywhere. Like not
Everywhere.
only
Huh?
yeah, like when I started like looking for a house when I was in Brampton, I was looking like in exactly like peak after COVID, like second wave time. I was looking for. I was in the market.
2022.
Yeah, 2022 or yes, 20, yeah, same time. So when I was in the market, I was looking for a house. Like it's after post COVID, like second wave of at the time. I don't know. Like previously, when I was in Brampton, like where the value was like 2%, like or 1.8, and like everyone, like I don't know like why government has dropped that low, and everyone started want to buy a house because it was a low interest rate, and whoever has that money they're just putting it to the market. And even the worth, I don't say that worthless, but yeah, the house which is not worth of 500, it was going for a million.
That's right.
It's a million. I don't know. It's because of this. I don't know. It's because of the scarcity or too many people for one house coming over because of the rush.
Yeah.
Because the prices are very low and people want to buy at the same time. But no one predicted that the prices will go such a high in 1 year span. So that was like even I bought in a peak time because I was not getting any house. Of course, um, I was looking for a house. It went to 1 million the property, and yeah, I bought it for 2%. I was in a variable. In 1 year time I ended up paying for 7%.
Yeah.
So it was a gray. Of course, my dream now it is like when it will be coming to that. I don't think it will come back to 2. Maybe of course, whatever the prediction the Bank of Canada or the bankers, high technician, like high experts will say, but I don't think it will come to 2. But maybe expected to be like 3 or 2, like 2.5 to 3. But I don't think it will come to where when I bought it. So because it will be again, it will be, and the market will be collapsed. So I don't think it will be happen. But it's good. Like maybe the government has to, because this is an experience. I don't know whether they've experienced. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know what was the at that time the government intention to bring back that to 1.8. I think the least was 1.7 or something. If you go for fixed, so that was the thing. Like I got it for 2. So I end up paying. But of course, I am praying like to get it to the to reduce. Of course, yeah, every time we'll see okay how much it was reduced, but it doesn't make any sense like when I compare to the initial interest rate. Of course, everyone thought like it's less, so we didn't go for fixed. Of course, always I regret from past 2.5 years why I didn't go for fixed.
Yeah, even me too.
Yeah, I regret it, but still there is nothing I can do. I cannot go fixed on today, but just thinking of like, of course, I'm hoping still that maybe what do you call, the cuts will be in this year. I don't say next year, this year the cuts may be like, because the elections are coming. Maybe I'm hoping, I don't know how the next government will impact, because they are mostly targeting on housing. So they want to make the housing affordable, so that can also be impacted a lot. So I don't think the price will go high. So the people, those who bought the houses in 2022, is that, yeah, that's the time frame.
21, 22.
Yeah, 21 to like the COVID time frame,
COVID
like
time frame, yeah.
first wave and second wave
Yeah.
time. The buyers who sold, they might be a profitable people, but who bought might be the people with a loss. I don't know whether to cover how many years it will take, but I don't think the people, those who bought, will be, at least I don't know whether they can sell at the same prices.
Yeah,
At
even
least in GTA or maybe at the other cities, whoever bought it, maybe they bought it for too high. Maybe, I don't say even not 50,000, that's acceptable, but the people, they bought it for 200, 300, or 400,000 more, which is way worth
Yeah.
like of the house. But I don't know that even the interest cuts and all, the current market will, because I'm seeing that like my house is like 100,000 less now.
Yeah.
In the market, but still I'm hoping whether at least, even if I have to sell, at least I have to get back what I spent. Yes,
yeah.
spent. That's my dream too, but I don't know whether that will happen. But yeah, I have like a lot of friends who sold there because they couldn't afford, because they are in the variable. Everyone thought they took it in a variable time, and because it drastically increasing, and their affordability of the monthly bills, they cannot, so they have to sold in the loss. And I know one person who bought it for 800 because he's the investor. He bought it for 800, and he just put 100 on top of it to renovate it in the that time, and he want to sell it for 1.3. Now it is not even going for 7.
Yeah.
Even he give for rent, he's in still loss, because it hardly goes for 3,000, but he has to pay the mortgage of 5,000.
But if the interest rates go down, then the house, there are a couple of advantages and disadvantages, by the way. Interest on lending for the companies and institutions or organizations, yeah, that will go down. So they will dump more money into their production or into their whatever operations, right? So that will bring money back into the account. This is what I feel, at least. So for example, let's say I have a couple of friends, I would say clients or friends, whoever it is. They are into trucking. They are now saying, before they are like they're making huge amount of money every month. They are always busy. Stay 2 days in a, they just stay like 2 days in a week in the house, right? But now they are staying at home the most part. Why? Because there's no load for them to pick up from anywhere. Their clients, so these people are owner come driver, whatever, right? So they are waiting for somebody to call them to pick their load and deliver it somewhere. Why? Because interest rates are too high. They cannot afford the, what do you call, the rates, right? Most of the, so interest rates are going up, gas prices are going up, everything is going up. So I would feel like the higher the interest rates, the more the economy will be impacted. I know that we have to bring inflation down. The reason why the economy will be impacted is the reason why they increase the interest rate is to cut down the spending for the most part. Right?
Yeah, it would just basically suck back all the dollars that are in.
All the money. So in order to bring that back, or to bring all the money back, who has the money to, at certain point, we are at that point now. Who has the money now? There's no money in the market. Everybody is waiting for some kind of an opportunity to make money, no, or to spend money. That is one thing. But the second thing, if the interest rates go down, the house prices will go up like crazy.
Exactly.
Right? So that means the housing market is already inflated, too inflated, right? I was talking to somebody from in US, one of my friend, right? He's like, I just we just it's a general talk, and he asked me, okay, what is that, like, how are the housing price, whatever it is, right? He's from Texas, by the way. So I told him that, okay, we bought the house for whatever price. And he's like, oh, okay, so that means your house must be like a big mansion, right? Like seven eight houses.
No,
Seven.
I'm laughing. Sorry, I'm laughing because the same conversation something had with one of my friends. He is also in Texas.
Okay.
And I saw a picture of his home, and it's like a palace.
Yeah,
compared
exactly.
to what I have, and I said, and I was asking him what is the price of that home. It was like somewhere between 350,000 to 400,000 range, and and he's that was quick conversation, and after a couple of days he sent me kind of a link to who was kind of mocking the Canadian like real estate or market, Canadian market of buying home, where a person was buying a home worth of 700,000 in Toronto, which looks like my
Yeah,
my
shit place.
my garage. It's like the size of my garage.
Yeah.
See, you are spending a lot in Canada to buy a small home, and in here, I'm not even spending that much, which means I'm still poor. I may look, like rich or having a big house. Compared to the price, I'm poor. You are actually rich, but you are wasting money somewhere. Buying a home in Canada. You come to US. That's what he said.
Yeah, but like it is important to draw a distinction here. So US is so US in general, they're like 10 times our economy. They have more population, they have more jobs, etc. Like they have more land, and when I say more land, it's like more accessible land. Like if you go up north here, from where we are, like GTA, you go up north, like you could buy cheap land. So land, like it's not expensive. Expensive is where you actually want to buy, which is the GTA, the Greenbelt area, like Hamilton, GTA, KWC, all of these London, all of these areas. That's where it's expensive. Now, why is it expensive? Well, it's the scarcity. Why there is scarcity? There is they don't reward the builders. The government policies, the taxes, it leaves 10% net margin if you're lucky for a builder. Why would you risk $5 million? If I had 5 million in cash right now, which I could use to build, let's say two, three, whatever, homes, detached homes on pieces of land wherever, why would I do that for mere 10%? Like putting that in basically GIC or any other like stock, like any other investment will give you more returns, safe returns. So it's not rewarding the builders to build more houses. So they're basically controlling the supply by their ruthless, socialist, whatever the policies, and they're not rewarding the capital, the builders, to come in, take the risk.
Yeah.
That's the way to put it.
I feel like this the interest rate that the drop that we are seeing now may be related to the upcoming election. I heard or I read somewhere, not somewhere, it's on X, I think. Pierre Poilievre said he will fire him on the first day or something like that.
I didn't hear that, but Trump said the same thing about the Powell, right? Like Powell, yeah.
I heard he will replace him on the day he comes in, and then I don't know, but the thing is, as soon as these liberals started losing their what you call influence or their popularity or whatever, I don't know. Maybe this is a coincidence. The interest rate has also started coming down, and now we have an election in October. Do you think? I feel like we may go all the way up to 2.1 at least.
It's very hard to say. It's very hard to say, but it'll be a disaster.
Yeah, historically, the people are saying it will be disaster. But historically, if you look at that, it is always at 2.1, 2.2.
Yeah, but you have to see like the jobs pay. Like you have to see a lot of other factors. It's not just one dimensional, right? Like you have to see other factors that affect that. So be driving it back to 2% right now, basically just to keep the market and economy afloat. That means higher cost of goods.
I don't know, like the current, like the labor market, like the current market, right? The liberals. I don't know, like what is their focus. Of course, the right agenda for them is just to win the next elections. Of course, for both parties. I don't say like it's a NDP or liberals or conservatives. Everyone's agenda is to win the next. So they might tell whatever the shit right now. Because I, of course, once upon a time, like maybe 6 or 7 years back, before, of course, I was like admirable, like I like Trudeau or his administration, how it was like previously. But of course, maybe the thing is like how, but like for the last 5 years, how he changed the whole country is getting in opposition. Like no one want to see him to be like a prime minister or like liberals to be in the prime minister, because a lot of opposition, because the people those are already in this country uh, are getting like same thing like US. The people in US were getting and they're struggling. So that's the reason the main agenda for the Trump to get like make US great. US great is not but the immigrants, like local, the people already in the citizens. They want, like they are struggling. So they, even the people in this country like citizens or like PRs or whatever, in this they are struggling. So even the people those who are admired previously, those who are like not immigrants, they didn't get a PR. Like maybe those who previously, like 5 years back, 6 years back, the people that came as a students or like work permits or everything, they could to settle down. They all like were like Trudeau, but they all, because of him, he came here, they settled down, they got PRs and all. But the living style, like the cost of living has been increased a lot, and the people those already living got settled down here struggling a lot like to pay their bills on day to day. And not only like immigrants or even the local, there are a lot of people those are already Canadian citizens, like from the past, the, they are struggling a lot to pay their own bills. So that's making the people to be like against of a labor market, like they don't want to like opposing lot of opposition on the current government. So they just thing is, of course, I don't think like if you see like last 2 months what is happening in the parliament, even the finance minister has been resigned because I don't know whatever the policies they have been said, and she resigned. There are a lot of other people are getting resigned in the same thing. And
yeah, everybody's
is resigning, and he's just holding the power. That's it. Of course, there are even he's never. Of course, he's strong enough. He's not giving up. He's I don't know, but yeah, even NDP is supporting Varno, but he says that yeah he didn't likes, but still he's supporting.
You see that I think people put posters and everything on Jagmeet Singh's
Right.
office, outside Jagmeet Singh's office on X. I just saw that on X. People said, "Oh, Trudeau's puppet," because
Of
he's
course.
just because he's just keeping hold on the the coalition. That's the fear. That's what I mean. Like that's the fear that I have. Like even with conservative coming in. So the way Canadian system, the political system works, they have like us in India, right? You have a lower house and upper house, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. They have here House of Commons and you have Senate. So if you want to make any change, so you have to introduce a bill to House of Commons, where there's the debate of all. So House of Commons in the Lok Sabha, then it has to go to the Senate. Now the interesting thing about Senate here is all the senators are appointed by Prime Minister. They and none of the senators, basically they don't have a fixed term. They go out when they retire, which is like whatever 60 70 years old. There is no time limit, nothing on the senator. So if Justin Trudeau has appointed X number of senators, they are likely to lean towards liberals, and they're still in the Senate for up till the end of basically till their retirement. So even if even if conservatives come in with the majority in the House of Commons with more than 230 whatever is required seats, so let's say he wants to enact a change, housing bill, whatever, he introduces a bill in the House of Commons. Yes, he has a majority. He might that bill might pass. Now it goes to Senate. Senate, you are already at 70%, like 60%. They're saying yeah. So basically, like it has to still the bill that passed through House of Commons, even with a conservative majority, has to go to Senate and pass there. Now Senate, right now, I think the last I saw, 60 to 65, 70% of senators are leaning towards liberals. So what does that mean? That means that let's say Pierre comes in with the bill, it gets through the House of Commons because he has a clear majority. Now it goes to the Senate. Senators say no, and now you're back to pay. So that's what it makes. It makes things difficult for the new administration to change, to make changes, to make radical changes that we actually need.
It doesn't make any sense, like as a like of course I'm an immigrant and settled down in this country. It doesn't make sense for me to like there's no point like electing MPs now.
It doesn't make sense to the Canadians either.
Right. It's making like why do you want elections then?
Because House of Commons, the representatives are elected, the senators are selected by the Prime
Right.
Minister. So long, and they don't have a fixed term. They basically go out whenever they're retired.
There's no point in electing the MPs every 5 years and making a prime minister every 5 years.
Yeah, we can change the political system.
That's it, of course, because there's no point, right? If they are not passing it, like of course, if they don't have majority, or
Yeah, it is general. So like I said, they're generally leaning. So not to say that all senators don't act in a non-partisan way. Like they are. Obviously they hold a job, they hold office, they have to be responsible. So whatever is good for the people that needs to be done, it needs to be done. So it's not. I'm not saying that they're definitely going to reject every bill that Pierre comes in with. I'm just saying that because the majority of them might lean liberal, it might be difficult for Pierre to bring in radical changes that we need right now.
But still, as a prime minister, he has his own right to appoint his own.
If if one of the other terms like ending or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he has a right to appoint, then he need to have a right to terminate. Yes, terminate or with the majority of the MPs, because
Yeah, so
if you
there
cannot,
are rules around how you can like basically fire them and stuff. You can
yeah,
look
I
that
think
up,
maybe a firing is a,
but
maybe a right
but
word.
no, like,
Maybe just to
but
removing
it
them from
has
this
to.
position,
I don't think we have ever seen like a senator fired. Basically, they either
or at least governor should have a right.
No, recently these people are fired. I heard some people got fired, but Trudeau fired many people.
in Senate.
Yeah, I don't know from where.
I don't think so. But like I said, regardless, the they're still non-partisan. They have to act in a neutral manner, I guess. They can't lean one way or the other. They have to, consider the goodwill of the people first. So let's hope they do that without us changing the political system.
Yeah, we know we talked a lot about Trudeau and his policies, but after this October, if Pierre Poilievre comes into play or he gets elected, what do you think he's going to do about this the energy? Like I feel like so, just to give an example, right? Every time I look at my gas bill, the gas consumption or actual price is only 40, 45, whatever dollar, right? But if you look at my gas bill, it's $180 a month. It's because this charge, this tax, that tax, right? And gas, every 2 weeks, every 2 days I pump gas in my car. There is another tax, right? This, what do you call this tax? The carbon tax. Yeah. This tax, I think he's saying axe the tax, by the way, but I don't know what will he do.
Yeah, I think that's what he was telling, right? His main thing is to remove the carbon tax. So that's his agenda. ASA tax is nothing but he doesn't take overall tax. His main agenda is carbon tax. That was because that was initiated or started by Trudeau. So that's the reason he want to cut off. Like he want to remove those, because of that reason the production or anything is like stopping. Like maybe like everywhere, that is impacting every person in Canada, like directly or indirectly. Maybe if you're fueling, it's coming as a GST. Like if the company, the production, they are like trucks or everything, the tax is coming on the farmers, like truck, whatever the equipment they need to run that. Again the tax. Even the individuals who are living in the house, again the carbon tax. So that's the reason like people are affected a lot. So he want to axe the tax, means he want to completely remove the carbon tax. But of course these guys like the liberals, they already started the green programs. Couple of green programs started with they want to reduce this consumption. Of course that's the reason they are giving some the subsidy schemes to encouraging the Tesla electric vehicles to reduce the consumption of that. Even the housing, like for the they want to reduce this gas thing to go get into the hybrid, like heat pumps.
Heat pumps, yeah.
So like they're coming with a subsidy, rebates. I call it like not subsidy, rebates. They're providing the rebates to Canadians homeowners to reduce the gas bills in such a way that changing the, like of course we are always in the focus of like next coming 10 years, like it going to be an electric reduce the gas. That's the main agenda of the liberals too. They want to reduce the consumption of the gas, so that people can go to the electric. Most of the like even the vehicle wise or the housing, also the heating system, because main in Canadian in the winters there are a lot of consumption of gas. Of course vehicles or anywhere, because even the home 24/7, like we need a heating because that's the reason they already, because I changed last 2 years back when I moved to Hamilton. So I just changed my gas system to what do you say, like hybrid model, that is like heat pump. So the majority of the my gas now it's reduced, like it will go only if the certain temperature hits, like maybe like you need to set up the temperature like -7. If it is hitting more than -7, then only it goes to gas. So everything comes on the heat. Of course it's a so slow process of heating, but still it just saves some pennies, of course. But sometimes if I feel, because it is running a long time, But still, yeah, it's not that effective because people want a
Exactly, yeah.
effective, right? Heat is immediately. It will take 1 hour.
It's
to
just
heat
like
it
one
up.
of these schemes with carbon tax, right?
Carbon
Like,
tax.
okay, yeah, what has carbon tax given in terms of, like changing the climate?
Climate, yeah.
What did it change? What change did they bring?
people?
So you
started
just for example, right? Like you said, you changed to heat pump. It's a very good idea, by the way. But why did you need to? Why do you need to? You or we here, Canadians, I would say, would need to compromise for this. Why do we need to move from? Okay, for example, I don't want to use the word because it may be a controversial, but just for your example, a heat pump takes certain amount of time to
Right.
heat. So during peak winter time, you have to wait or tolerate certain amount of cold or
True.
whatever, right? Why do we need? How about the actual countries that are producing this green gas? Oh, sorry, this greenhouse gases. Why cannot we stop those, right?
True. I
And
agree.
we are moving our production, we are moving our manufacturing,
exactly.
we are moving everything. We actually gave our hair in their hands, right? So they are we gave our production, we gave our manufacturing, we gave everything into countries like, I don't want to use the names, but still, let it be China, let it be India, let it be Vietnam, let it be Bangladesh, yeah, Bangladesh, whatever, right? They are putting so much. And again, our electric power here, the way we produce is nuclear. It is the cleanest, I would say. If you remove the nuclear waste, that is the cleanest electric power that we are generating. Or we are using hydroelectricity. That's very clean, right? And how about the countries that we are pushing actually for our production? China, India, Bangladesh. How are they? Are they using nuclear? I don't think so. They are using coal.
Yeah.
And China and India are the biggest consumers of coal.
Yeah.
And as an engineer in the past, I built like several power plants. I would say thermal power plants, right? So I know how much amount of coal each power plant will consume to generate 1 megawatt of electricity. They do have some conditions, like no, not conditions, I would say. They do have different kinds of fuel. They say they will name it as renewable power plant. Like they will use this molasses from sugarcane, whatever. They will burn the coconut, what you call it, the leaves or whatever. Yeah, cocoa coir, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll use that. Some people will use chicken dropping, poultry dropping. I did build all these kinds of plants, right? But at the end of the day, how much we are burning something, so that is generating carbon there, right? And we are releasing carbon dioxide into the environment. So why cannot we control that? Why is that you need to compromise? What is that? If what will Pierre Poilievre do in for Canadians in terms of this green concept, right?
Well, I think he has totally agreed to like just scrap it altogether. Like, and that's the whole extra tax. He said we're not. So he's gonna raise the limits on on the gas for the gas. He's hopefully gonna get that pipeline running again. So and cutting the tax on obviously the carbon tax. So he's definitely said we're not gonna look into that, like go that route of extravagant spending, trying to save the environment, while while some other country on the other side of the globe is, at the end of the day, they're using whatever they can to do the produce, make the produce. So he has definitely said that. So we should see reduce in energy prices, so our energy costs, and it affects us directly on like that is your gas dollars. Because, so for example, if he cuts the carbon tax, basically your gas is like $1 a liter, so which is direct savings in your pocket. Obviously the companies and businesses that consume a lot of energy, now they are cutting their overheads and saving more money or in operating costs. So we should see a direct effect on individuals and on businesses, um, going this route.
Even if you say, okay, I'm stopping this XYZ, right? Whatever, point one, point two, point three, whatever, right? But unless he start producing stuff in Canada, stuff in the sense, or let's say gas, we have so much amount of gas in Canada, like Alberta.
Yeah, we have to unleash our resources.
Exactly, we have so much energy in Canada. We have so many minerals in Canada. We are second biggest country in the world.
But yeah, third largest in terms of resources.
How much can we actually bring out? Like from in terms of economy, our economy will boom like crazy, right? And if we still sticking to this bull whatever, like to the previous governments, but that's going to be of no use, right? And I see this Alberta. Anyway, yeah, she is trying to fight against the current Trudeau's policy, but only thing that's avoiding that she is trying to pull out from what you call this current federal rules and regulations, and she is siding more with US, right? And as soon as and by the way, the crazy thing is she is the only one who got inauguration letter invite from Trump, right? She's the only one because she knows what her province has, right? And even our Ontario has lots of minerals, right? A lot of resources. World's biggest mine is Sudbury, right? Let's take Sudbury. We have one of the biggest mines in the world for minerals. We are not unleashing. We need to loosen the regulations in terms of in term like we need to loosen the regulations and then start producing our stuff locally. Then our economy will boom. If not, inflation, no matter how much whoever comes in, it's going to stall. It's going to stay like this.
It could be a different perception altogether, right? They kind of saving for the future. Make use of all the resources available outside the country, and you become rich to show them that I have all the resources now, so that you'll slowly boom out and show yourself that I'm grown up. But talking about the transition, energy transition, right? Towards green. What are the various areas that we can think about? Is one obviously, as you said, the home. At home, they use a lot of gas, to heat during the winter season, and not just the winter season. Throughout the year, people are driving cars, right? And there is a lot of gas which is used to burn the gas for someone to go from home for to shopping or for regular to work. They are spending a lot of money towards gas. And what other option? Looking at the alternate, what options do we have? One is hybrid, right, and the other is completely going with the EVs. But EVs are, in my opinion, it's not really great during the season of winter, especially for a country like Canada. Between the between the months between November and March, every year, right, where the temperature is going down, and during, having all the straits, which is having snow after the snowfall, especially, right, using a EV is comparatively is going to be challenging to drive. Or maybe let's say I have a car which is going giving a mileage of let's say a certain set of kilometers. Probably the EV will do the same during summer, in rainy season and winter, and probably in any other type of season. It is going to drop fast, right? And if I need to go charge my car, I need again a lot of resources to charge my car. So the alternate resource is where we also need to look at what is available.
I think in terms of green, I think the most promising and where the future lies is nuclear. We should be investing more in smaller nuclear plants, um, and that's the future. In Canada, yeah, you said yeah, going electric, but at the end of the day, where is that electric? How is that electricity being generated? Is the question. Right now, we could be burning coal to generate electricity. We could be burning gas, or hydroelectricity. You can talk nuclear, and nuclear is definitely the most. You have a giant nuclear reactor in the sun, as a sun, and you know how like, we have to use nuclear energy to solve all of our energy needs, and that's the way to go.
Yeah, coming to solar, it depends upon the efficiency, right? How much efficiently can we use? Again, in order to make solar panels, we need to destroy the environment a lot, right? The lifespan of each solar panel is what, 25 years. After that, where are we going to dump it? But the amount of energy that we make, or we generate from that, is way too low compared to what we are.
In this perspective, we need to go with the hydro. Like mostly the hydro is the like of course in Canada has a lot of resources like the water resource. Then try to have like water plants. like water generation, and so solar, I don't know, and also winds. I don't know, windmills and all, how much it will generate.
Windmill. I think I heard a lot of criticism around windmills, especially because they're so like they're not cost effective. Basically, it takes so much to build them, and the electricity it generates, it kills birds, obviously. Then the windmills, like you said, where do you like after a while when they're done servicing, when where how do you get rid of them? Like the transportation and everything, the overhead cost is just gargantuan.
Yeah, I did those projects, or I was into power, building power plants. As I told you, right? Windmills, you cannot get any power from one. Yeah, you'll get it. Right? Let's say we install these windmills in certain amount of land. That's in hectares, right? In acres, in acres and all. It takes a lot of windmills to generate 1 megawatt. Like if you are going further west, you will see a lot of windmills here.
Yeah, and you have to do like a lot of, even underground, like like a solid foundation, you have to dig up a lot of it's just a lot of work.
So many windmills are installed there, and if you ask anybody how much it is generating, it will never max or never reach, I would say, 2 megawatt. If you ask anybody, if you find windmill anywhere, go and ask them, okay, what is the plant capacity, how much electricity, like what is the capacity? They'll say 1.5 megawatt maximum, 1 megawatt, 1.5. For that, you have to destroy the entire land, acres of land, right? Hundreds of acres of land to generate 1 megawatt. If you go with our nuclear power plant, like or thermal, anyways, yeah, I would say thermal is also there, but again, it comes to this carbon and whatever, right? Emissions and whatever. But usually a thermal nuclear plant or a thermal power plant or a hydro power plant, they'll be like what? The smallest I saw is like 45 megawatt, and the biggest I did is 250 by 4 megawatt, which is like 1000 megawatt, right?
Yeah, I
those
think
are
I
things.
think nuclear, hands down, is the future.
So green tariff. So we are going with this green initiative and whatever. But our partner under there, in the south, Trump, from next after 20 days, he's going to scrap all this garbage. He's against this green and whatever. Right? He wants to drill. He want to make or generate more energy, right? And then he want to produce everything locally, including energy. But he's also looking at, I feel, because he's talking to Alberta Premier and whatever, right? So I think he's also looking into tapping into Canadian energy, right? But the thing is, he also is threatening us that he's going to impose 25% tax, right? That is going to have that will. So first thing is, we have higher inflation. Our inflation interest rates are bullshit. Our government is not doing nothing. We cannot tap into our energy. We don't have jobs. We don't have production. Or we don't have, like, the labor market is very low. Immigration is super crazy. And this morning, I think Bharat sent me a video
In Alberta, right?
in Alberta, and as soon as I saw that video, I remember my Hyderabad days.
So at a peak hour, I guess, like a bus arrives to the stop. We
People
see
just
like 100
swarm
to
around.
200 people who's trying to, like battle to
Yeah,
themselves to get into the bus.
they just swarm around. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was crazy looking at that no specific video that I shared with Ashok earlier today.
Even even the Toronto subway stations, if you see in the peak hours, subway stations, it will be like too much. Of
New
course,
York, every city is like.
As soon as I saw this, Hyderabad, remember?
yeah. I used to hang with one rod. I just
Right?
hold to
Yeah.
one bus when I was doing my graduation. In that, like 2 3 people will be
Where are these
falling
people
down.
going?
There's only one bus.
Maybe at that time, maybe you're getting
Yeah, no, I heard about that because what happened was, even in Kitchener, maybe it's not on video, but what happens is, like, let's say the bus is on a route and it breaks down in middle of the road. Now it has to drop out all the passengers. Now there's another bus coming by on that station, but by the time, there's already another people coming to catch the next bus. So there was, like, even in Kitchener, my friend was saying, like, there were like basically 3 4 like different groups of people that were trying to catch like 3 4 buses, like everybody waiting for one bus.
But this happens like normally it is just because you never know, like for the universities or the students, colleges, or the people those who work at certain time. Like for example, like subway station. If you take an example, like every time the subways are not full, the certain time like 5 or 4, that is office times,
Exactly,
it
yeah.
ends, the people, because the railway track cannot accommodate like hundreds of trains at the straight away, right? Even the buses, there are certain time like every 15 minutes there is a bus. That doesn't mean that okay, 5 o'clock the university, like the University of Waterloo will be finished, so that he cannot put like 10 buses on the, like the people will get it. Because they have some certain rules like they will put it, but yeah, this happens in every country when there is a rush.
I do. This is where planning comes, right? When there is a college.
I agree. Yeah.
Of course, yeah, that is also right. I agree. But
But the thing is, yeah, I do know about Union Station, like Toronto Union Station. It is always packed, right? When I used to take train from Islington to whatever, right, to Union Station, it is always like that. But I never saw something like this. This is too bad. And then people, did you see? So if you look at the video, some guy is actually holding the rail, like the door rail, and the bus still did not stop, right? He's still holding the door. He's running with it.
yeah, but
That is
we
super
don't know
bad.
the realistic, like maybe we just saw one video, doesn't mean that it happens every day. If it is happening every day, that is a mistake by the government, or like maybe the transportation company, they have to take care of it. But we are just seeing the video, and we cannot blame the whole thing, because it might happen one day because there is some other bus has been stopped working, then because of that, like all the people coming into one bus, or maybe at the time, I don't know. That's what I feel.
Yeah, so coming again, this will come up to immigration point, right? And this is immigration in the sense, okay, I will go further, like, because Trump already came into the topic, so he's also fighting against immigration. Okay, you said people are, this may be a one-time situation, or can we take it like this is happening regularly and some guy got fed up and then he started recording the video?
That's true. That can be true. Then it's a failure of the
You can see the comments on the
public
thing. You'll see it right
transportation.
away. But like most likely, yeah, that might be like a one-off. But nonetheless, we already know that we have too many immigrants, and we don't have the infrastructure and facilities made to support that number of, that number of people.
Yeah,
So
that
that
is
is a
there.
known fact. That is a known fact already. Housing crisis, everything like labor market, everything tells you that we have way too many people. Even the hospitals, like your medical, like the healthcare, it is a disaster. What does it tell you? It tells you we have way too many people than we can support. The healthcare is basically run down to the ground.
But the thing is, how can these temporary people, they're not accessing anything in terms of healthcare, they do not have anything.
No, that is wrong. They are all excess. Like I was listening to actually a post on X. Somebody posted. There were basically a lot of immigrants and people in the refugees, like whoever. But basically, there were a lot of people in the, like of mixed background in the hospital, and Canadians and whoever. Like they're basically everybody's waiting. We don't have enough doctors.
Yeah.
Like a recent scenario. Listen to how stupid this is. So I had to get an X-ray for my thumb, and I called True North Imaging a week earlier in advance, because I knew like the coming Monday, for example, I was gonna be like working half day, so I wanted to schedule my X-ray around that time, so I don't have to take time off work. I called them a week in advance. I asked them if they can schedule an X-ray for me for the coming Monday at the nearest location for me, and they said no, we don't schedule it like that. They basically they are like a walk-in, first come first serve. I'm like, okay, well, this is the near, and I asked them, well, this is the nearest location to my house, what's the approximate wait time? So they say, okay, this is the busiest location, you're looking at hour and a half or two. I'm like, okay, I'll still go there after, because I was done at 12. I was done work at 12. I go there. I go there only to find out the clinic shut down. Basically, it was closed. It was and this goes longer than this. So the clinic was closed. I'm like, okay, this might be something new or whatever. And so I go to the next nearest location to my house. I go there. I reach there by 2. They're closing at 5 o'clock, five I think. I reached there at 2, and I was hoping to that she would give me a receipt, like walk in basically and give me a wait time. She's like, no, we cannot take you because we already have 3 hours worth of people waiting in queue. So this is where I lose my shit, like I'm like, so I tried to call you guys well in advance. Nobody told me that the other location was closed. I come here, you're saying, and the lady there, like, she's like, oh, you got to come back tomorrow. I'm like, I cannot come back tomorrow. I got to go work. I cannot take a time off. I can't afford to take time off for this stupid X-ray, which takes like 10 minutes. So I walk out of there pissed off. I call customer service, True North. I speak to the customer service representative, and I tell them exactly what happened. I'm like, I call them. So the reason why the first location was closed was because they didn't have X-ray technologists. They have X-ray machines. They have X-ray machines. The reason it was closed because they didn't have X-ray technologists to support basically taking X-ray. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So she suggests me a third location. I go there, hour and a half wait, and I ask them, I'm like, where's the bottleneck? Because I'm trying, like, in your business mind, you're thinking, well, if this is such a scarcity, why not let's just invest whatever 100 whatever is required to get your own X-ray clinic, right? Like, because you do that, like, and so but then that's when I was told that the first location, basically you don't have X-ray technologists to support. You have X-ray machines. By the way, the first location had 2 X-ray machines. The other ones that I went to had only 1. So the one that had more X-ray machines was shut down, and now everybody has to suffer. You don't have X-ray technologists for a stupid X-ray. X-ray is it's very trivial. It's 10-minute task. I was out in 10 minutes when I got my appointment after 4 hours of dicking around.
Now let's compare the same one with H1B1, right? This topic came in when we are discussing about immigration. Is this the same situation in H1B1? Most of the people in on X, for a day or two, they started talking shit about everybody who is coming on H1B1, right? Can they not bring people from with the same visa here? If okay, why cannot people from here? Yeah, we discussed this a couple of weeks ago too, right? Like, why cannot people from here get that course?
Like H1B.
No, the
radiology.
technology radiology.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, wow, that's where that goes back to our first like when we had our first conversation together during the podcast.
Yes.
What type of people are we bringing in?
Yeah.
It is clearly we need a lot of healthcare workers, X-ray technologists, doctors. Now, we as citizens and residents of this country should hold the next administration coming up accountable. That okay, like, we see these problems. You see problems in healthcare. You see problems in housing crisis. You see problem with a cost of living, affordability, etc. They need, and then we need to give them like metrics where we can test, like, basically hold them accountable for. So if they have clear, if we have clear metrics to look at, say, okay, for healthcare, I'm expecting this number of whatever. For housing, I'm expected to do, build this number of houses, etc. For businesses, okay, tax cuts, etc. So we need to have clear metrics and hold the new administration accountable to those metrics, and hope that the new administration is transparent enough. The future of governance is like it'll the transparency will be the bedrock of it all. They have to be transparent as to what they're doing, and it has to be a number. Put a number on it. Put a number on whatever you want to get done. Put a number on it. Put a target, and then hold them accountable. That's how we'll fix this shit.
By the way, I don't really take, or whatever the experience you had was really disappointing, which is understandable. But no, that situation cannot be directly put on the government in my perception. Reason because let's say the X-ray for that facility was set up by a specific.
True North Imaging. We
Right.
can name them.
Yeah. So
I don't care.
right. So now it's up to them to make sure it's a business for them, right? And they have a facility with all the infrastructure in place. What they lack is skill. There are a lot of
Labor.
people-
Skilled labor.
Skill. Labor is there. What
No,
I'm saying
skilled
is
labor. Yeah, skilled labor.
What they lack is skill. The country have a lot of immigrants, or let's say that there are a lot of students, who are ready to work, right? And what is
But
what is
do we have the right type of students?
exactly? So what they lack of is like basically the skill. What is needed for the skill? Is that a 4-year course? Maybe not. Or even if it is a 2-year course, are there not enough students who is going like
No, I
taking that skill?
think it is still no. We still have to like answer the deeper question. So when you say we have a lot of students, we have a lot of international students. Safe to say, we have more international students than domestic students.
Yeah.
So if we have more international students, that means the government is bringing in people from outside to study in colleges, in whatever programs. Why are they not supporting or getting more students for the particular skill that they require? Is the real question. It's not, yeah, you have a lot of students who's willing to go into the workforce and work, but they want to work in their own respective whatever the field that may be, right?
I still remember one of the discussion. I know, probably in one of the podcasts, students are coming here for studies, right? It's I don't know if government is bringing them or the college is asking them to come study here and then work for the Canada, companies being owned by Canada. But the intention is to give them the like awareness of what they wanted to pursue. I came here to study as a student. I finished my studies. I can go back to my own country and do my work,
If you want to, yeah.
right? And I cannot blame the colleges here, and colleges are only giving them the opportunity to come and study here, right? If people are coming because they are affordable, or they're affordable to pay this fee and learn here or study here, they're coming here, or they may be still lending money to study
Exactly.
here.
I think the big part of immigrants coming in is they're coming in for the Canadian dream, so to speak. They see a better side
I
in
won't call
here.
them greedy, but there is
Yeah,
a
they're not
hope for
greedy.
them to be on the greener side.
I agree. Yeah,
right?
and they're not wrong.
And likewise, no, I'm not saying they are wrong, but likewise, the government of Canada, basically, they are not wrong either, because
How?
they bring the students only to, like they are opening the platform for the students to come and study, right?
Yeah.
They're not giving.
But
any
they have to.
promises.
Yeah, at the same
Definitely.
time. At the same time, they still have to be aware and conscious of what type of student. Like, you can't just bring in any like. So there was like a hairdresser course like that was done like online from like so like I see your point as to, yeah, they're not supposed to police every program. Basically, college can come up with any program, and if any student wants that program, the government should allow that. That's what you're saying, and that's what it means.
I don't know, like based on your experience, right? I'm trying to see if there could be a possible solution, right? Now, what
The possible, yeah. So
what we're talking here is more towards what this government is doing, like why what is the next government is we are anticipating to see as a solution, possible solution from them,
yeah.
right? And now taking this one specific experience from you as a problem.
I can go on. This is I have so many and not just me, right? Like my friends, like, and this is everybody that I talk to. Like one of my friends,
these are the collection of data. So this one specific place, where you say, which is very totally stupidity, where they have all the infrastructure but not a person to operate that specific machine. What is needed? One is labor. You can bring labor, but what do they need? They need a
skill the labor.
Yeah, so they need a skill. What is basically needed for them to train? Is this really a course, or is this kind of a certification? If it is a 2 years,
so there is so there is two solutions to it. Either bring skilled technologists from outside into the workforce, or promote or make those students like of that program a higher priority than the others.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that way, at least when the student graduates, there's definitely a need for that particular trade or skill, outside. He's not fighting for, like with 1,000 different people for that one job. That's what I mean. There is only two
This
solutions.
could be one of the for those who are listening to this podcast will be something people may know. There is one area which is still looking for an opportunity.
Yeah, healthcare, big time. Healthcare, like right now, the wait times are average wait times are like 8 hours in hospital.
After getting registered.
So let's say, yeah, after getting registered, MRI, forget about it. Like this was X-ray, MRI, like forget about it. Like months, you're looking at months basically to get an MRI. That's what my doctor said, by the way. It's like if you want to get an image of that MRI, you might heal before you get the appointment. That's what I was told, and this is by the doctor. So there's clear problems.
This, like, I believe, like, there are scarcity every place. Maybe like meat has experienced the X-ray thing at one place. Maybe like as we saw the video, the people that have experienced of scarcity of drivers, or like maybe the transportation, like less vehicles, or like they, like in other place, like maybe the police, like security is very less, like the population is more. But in some other sector there might be some officer, because immigration is getting less, like the processing time is taking huge, because there are not too many employees in service, because previously Service Canada was like taking a long time to issue the passports.
How about military? We need more
military.
We
So
have
everywhere.
So in Canada we have more CRA agents than we have men in service.
Right.
Like
Exactly, yeah.
True. So these all, like, so if everywhere there is a scarcity, but who knows this analysis? The government has each and every analysis of how many people they are coming inflow or outflow, and how many there is a capacity of students, or how many we can train yearly, and what courses we can train,
Exactly.
and how many people we needed every year, and how many skilled, like how many medical people we need, how many IT professionals we need, how many carpenters we need, how many like skilled labor we need. Yeah, doesn't mean that like you need to, the government has an agenda. Like of course he cannot give immigrants like, hey, I'm open to the like 1 lakh like 1 million visas to all the students. Doesn't mean, but is immigration has any cap? Okay, I need like general labor of like 10,000, like 1 million for this year, and I need like IT skilled people for 1 million. This just cap. Do we have a cap anywhere? Everyone is coming for a business management. If you see the
Yes,
Funansika
exactly.
college, if you see
Everybody
Funansika-
is
any stupid course, basically, that's what I mean. Like people are told that you take any stupid course for a year or two, you'll get a work permit.
Yeah.
You go to you get your work permit, you serve your time in whatever that job is that gives you that letter or that knock code, and now you're eligible for PR and you get permanent residency. Whether or not that skill, that job is adding value to the economy is secondary, apparently, which should be, like on top of the thing. Like, why is government not
putting it up on, because you can bring skilled, because you cannot like, of course immigration officer, no, of course how many people you are granting the visa, like on which course? Why can't you only approve, okay, already I am enough, I have approved for this year so many business people. Why can't you approve for medical people, or the people those are coming for IT? And also as you said previously, why you need 4 years of skilled like for just for the technician? Because it's a medical field, you cannot blindly give a person who like for just 6 months course to just to scan your X-ray. Of course you need to have a proper degree, because every has system, like of course without learning for 3 years of graduation of computer science engineering and doing for just coming a short course of 6 months, they cannot pay me 100,000 like to give a experienced candidate, right? So every like medical field or anything, there is a protocol, like everyone has to finish that, of course, but only thing government has to take an action, like make them train for that 4 years, or like how many people they needed, like bring them. Okay, if you're not, if you're just, because the government is only encouraged for diploma courses here, why can't you stay standard? No, there is no diploma courses, they have to do a master's here, then only they are eligible, then the people come for only for masters.
Yeah, like to Ajesh's point, like that he made earlier, government knows everything, supposedly. They know what they need, hopefully, and they know what they're bringing in, and that's for sure, right? Like what type of immigrants, etc. We just need them. We just need to hold them accountable, and for them to be upfront and give it like with the targets and numbers, saying, okay, I needed this, I did this. That's what I'm like. The next administration has to be, because the future is more about transparent governance. The government, in all its action, and everything. They have to be extremely transparent. Here's what we did. Here's what we did wrong. Here's what we did right. Even the wrongs, we I think that is more acceptable than just denying and gaslighting people. As long as the government is upfront about everything, transparent, open about everything that it's doing, and there is some logical reasoning behind what they're doing. Hopefully, I think that's the ideal future that we would want.
There are things like there is a cutoff, they know the cutoff and everything, but even they are when they are granting the PRs or giving the citizenship, there should be a cap. Doesn't mean that you qualify, you reach this benchmark of points, I'll give you a PR. Yeah, they should, like, of course US has their certain limit, like immigrant, I'll give only green cards of certain, like 1 million is my year is done.
Yep.
You shouldn't give like whoever is eligible, because you have to pay benefits at the end of the day, whether even though they work or not, you have to pay the benefits. But government is not thinking about it, because when you calculate, like, okay, for this year there should be a cap for IT. Okay, IT, I'm giving the PRs for this kind of skilled category. Okay, that is done. The people has to wait for till next year, then let them postpone. But if whoever is valid, if you are giving 10 million PRs, like PRs in the last year, and PRs,
Business managers.
yeah, like, when who will feed?
What will they do?
Yeah, of course,
There are not
you're
that many
bringing
businesses.
immigrants. You're bringing immigrants. Of course, it's not. I don't say it's. I'm not against of anything. But if you're bringing so many of immigrants, just you're giving freely $2,000 a month, just and also giving housings in subsidy way. And if they are not working, and if they have 4 or 5 kids, and you're giving top of it the money, whose money you are giving? Where do you get money? How you can generate the money? If you're not planning to generate a money, then how you can feed the people freely? And here the culprits are the people, those are hardworking guys.
That is right.
Yeah.
Listen, I can blame myself. Okay, I'm a hardworking guy, and I'm giving my people, those are sitting simply. Now the people want to leave the country.
Yeah. Now hardworking, talented people want to leave the
country.
country. Yeah.
Then how you can generate a money? By feeding freely?
Yeah, I was talking to somebody in the complex. Yeah, he said no, it's very hard for him to survive now, so he want to leave in January. I heard many people are leaving.
A lot of
Even I thought
talented
of
people.
thing, like in last
Yeah,
3 months
everybody.
time, I
Even
thought
I've
many
been thinking.
times,
Yeah.
is this a good option? Like even in last 3 months
This
time,
is
I
there,
thought,
like,
is
if
Canada
you-
is a good option for me?
Yeah, I just saw the video of Pierre Poilievre saying 4.9 million
Yeah.
people will be deported as soon as he comes in, right? If that is there, then that's really good. But I don't think that's happening. He can be. I don't
No,
think he can.
it doesn't make sense. He cannot say like,
but-
I will deport these many people. But
Yeah.
yeah, he has to take whom he
Exactly.
is deporting. Like,
Well, I think you will see to some degree, a lot of degree, you will see a lot of people being deported. Well, not deported, but like basically they will turn their back and they'll leave, because so up until now, a lot of students, even like, doesn't matter, regardless of what program they graduate from, they work any job that gives them, knock A, knock B, whatever that required for their PR. They just complete that time period and get their letter and become eligible as soon as possible for applying for permanent residency. And you will see a drastic drop in that, because government now will, obviously they're now hyper aware. Well, they were aware, but now they have to be basically, they have to be on top of it. So now they're gonna curb down on a lot of that bullshit and not allow basically anybody just becoming PR on any basis. So if that happens, what will the graduates and all of them do?
Yeah, they have to start. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Right? They have to start concentrating more. If they want to deport 4.9 people, I'm really happy. I'm I'm not against that. I'm also right. I do agree. We are all immigrants, by the way, right? We are working our asses off here, and we are taking the brunt of it, right? So I do not worry about people getting deported. By the way, I saw this tweet on X. I would say post on X this morning, that I think CBSA came up with the offer for people who want to leave. If anybody want to get deported, if they leave by themselves, or if they catch them and send them away, then I think they have to pay $2,300 or something. But if they are escorted by marshals or CBSA agents, they will have to pay $12,300, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They have to pay, and then they have to leave, and they cannot come back again at any time.
Yeah, deportation. Yeah, I think they can come again.
Well, but now you're gonna spend more to deport some people that were already not adding value to the economy.
All government has to do is bring in the same H1B1 visa, whatever in time, like in US, they have to create something. They have to create more job opportunity. The jobbers are already there, by the way, but they have to bring in more educated and skilled people, right? They have to increase the capacity or the knock, the number of applications in knock, and then bring it. They have to bring them here.
But the same question applies to US as well, right? One, if talking about H1B1, it basically they are trying to bring outsource the work, right? So or they bring the people out.
They're bringing top talent basically. If they don't have that skill, then they're bringing in people.
That's how it looks, right? Or is that meaning
That is how it is.
No,
Well, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. Sorry.
Right. So when no, during the election, when Trump was talking, in any place, or when it is being said there is kind of reshoring, reshoring is going to happen. It is basically nothing but he wants the people of US to own a work, which is supposed to be done by them, rather bringing the resource from outside the country, which means when my people are really having struggled to get work, or they're having, struggle to earn here, how possibly people from outside the country is capable of coming into the country and earn their money, like basically the money is being earned in the country and being spent outside the country, so which means the money is being spent not to increase the the own
Yeah,
economy,
you're basically spending outside. Yeah.
right? So by reshoring, I don't know how much it is going to be, an impact for one would be possibly for IT, right? So H1 and B1 will have likely a good impact in terms of their especially when it comes for the renewal of their H1 and B1. That's how I see, like when it is being said reshoring, I don't believe that people can be right away looked into and say, hey, you go out from the country. No, that's not how it's going to happen. It will happen like, I needed into, there is a
Yeah,
saying,
and again, like so H1B, they're not guaranteed permanent residency. They're still foreign workers
yeah, that's
on a
true.
permit, right? Like so right now, let's say Canada needs some worker, just to, and by the way, like Indians, a lot of Indians go to Israel. We go to, yeah. So like Indians are immigrating to a lot of countries, like for example, Israel, Middle East, Africa. A lot of Indians are going there for work purposes, and they have like set period that they have to serve for that job, or whatever they take up, and then they come back. So that means like Canada, if it needs worker for a set period of time, just do that without, without offering them loopholes into, permanent residency or whatever, via other means, which are not necessarily or not always adding value to the Canadian economy.
So these are all the nuances on the system. Like we see there are gaps in the system, right? Like or where they can have a plan,
Yeah,
or also which will make not to encounter any problem down the line. Like when you have an open, like an open market, people are going to jump directly, right? But if you have some filters in there, like you have rightly said, right? If there is need only for these many years, or if really there is a need for people to work here in the country, right? They can bring for every. I know one of the I think one of the country. I don't recollect which country it is, but they will outsource the team. So they will bring the people outside from the country. They work for 2 years and they cannot stay more than 2 years in the country.
yeah. A lot of
And
countries
they
do
need to
that.
go back.
Exactly.
The space is still there. Let's say, if it is an IT work, some IT profession. If it is a project for 10 years, let it be. I'm just taking it as an example. A person who travels, for the first year, he will be there for 2 years, and after 365 days, right, on the last day or a week before, the other person who has to come into the country to fill that position will travel,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
within a week time, the other person who was already staying in the country for
He's
2 years,
already
he'll
ready.
move out. So they what it means is basically the job is available, based on the job market, and there is a policy set by the country where an immigrant cannot stay more than 2 years, right? So they have to leave the country back. The same person can come after 2 years, but he cannot stay or extend it
Yeah,
more than like 700
yeah,
days. There is some
dedicated.
buffer, but
Yeah, have dedicated work visas. Control every government processes, and what when I mean control, so like I guess like we're engineering background, right? We have PID loops to control the processes, right? As soon as you see an overshoot of something, you control it down. Now immigration, like, and to take that analogy and put it in government processes, we are aware of this immigration, chaos for a long time, and it took so long for Trudeau to recently accept, okay, we were run rampant, and then now we're taking control. So basically what we expect the government to do is have a more tighter control over all of its processes, whether it be housing, immigration, fiscal policies, the monetary policies, etc. Have like rigid control, so your reaction time to any drastic changes is shorter, and you clamp down on anything, before it blows out of proportion. That's what effective government means, right? Like that's how they need to take take care of their job.
So far, we discussed about whatever the issues that we are seeing, whatever the issues that are happening out there in the world, whatever the regarding economy or whatever, how the government failed in Canada, how the government need to plan. It is about, we are always talking about someone else now, until now. But I would say since we are into New Year now, it's like 4 days now into 2025. I think we'll have to set a plan or goal for ourselves too. I don't know if anybody has any plan for this year that you want to see in terms of your personal life or whatever, or in professional life or whatever. Is there any plan that you have to improve yourself, like ourselves? I would say in terms of this podcast, I would say ourselves.
For personal, like professional, always, yeah, you want to get into new, like a new phase of your like career growth in the maybe in the workplace or everywhere to be a higher level. So that yeah, I have already have that. Like I need to get into a like higher role. Like always like learning, like skilling up myself every year to so that I can get into a better position. So that's always part of a life or in the work environment.
Number one thing I am very keen on seeing, and I want to say, I want to put it out as a goal for, I guess, being a lawful resident of a beautiful country. I want to see transparent governance. That is something I look forward to, and I hope that we can achieve. And this comes in light after obviously the recent U.S. election, how that's played out, and how I see an ideal future of the world for the benefit of the all of humanity. So that's what I want to see. Transparent governance. It has to be. It will be the bedrock of all of the humanity's success that is to come in the future, be it space exploration, AI, quantum computing, etc. All of the advances that we're going to make. But one thing that has to happen for that is transparent and effective government, and that's what I'm looking forward to. And obviously, like Ajesh said, there's a lot of on the personal side. You're always trying to take on challenging roles, take on new challenging projects, try to upskill yourself to be to be constantly of value, adding value to the economy.
for me, 2024 it was a wonderful year. I am expecting 2025 to be a fabulous one. I have already did some analysis on the professional side on what what were the pitfalls in 2024. Though it is wonderful, to make it more fabulous, I want to close all those pitfalls. By taking extra action towards that, and I want to be, make more videos for the podcast, meeting more guests, talk about interesting topics, and want to attract more listeners.
Yeah.
which will eventually make us to do more number of like podcasts with more people and put more videos out in the world.
For me, 2024, as Bharat mentioned, yeah, 2024 was really good. I would say, and I also want to take Ajesh's point that 2024 is the year I cleared my debt. I almost explained this in all our episodes, right? I was in very bad debt, $168,000 with bunch of credit cards, as thick as that box maybe, and I cleared all of them. All of them. My car is cleared, my student loan, my this loan, that loan, credit card, that card, this card, everything is done. $168,000 is cleared. And for this year, I would like, and also the thing is, I do have many clients, right, in financial industry. Last year, and obviously Bharat and Ajesh are also with me, right? So we gave a return of around what, 30%.
Yeah.
For some clients,
30 plus.
for some clients, very minimum, we gave 39% return, right, rate of return on their investments. And the majority of my clients got 30% rate of return. Some got anywhere between 16 to 25, whatever, right, on average. This year, I want to make sure, irrespective of how a government behaves, how a market behaves, I want to make sure that I keep my clients' portfolio grow. I want to see them grow. I want to see myself grow, right? I want to make sure that my clients always stay positive. And then, in terms of this, the podcast, I want to make sure that this podcast grows. We do not have studio, to be honest now. Right? This year, my plan is to set up a studio. So we have a dedicated location and where we can bring in guests, high profile guests, at least one. And also I'm thinking to see if we can start a live, because we have this election coming up in August, right? We don't have much time now, but by the way, by that time I want to see if we can conduct live, what you call streaming of everything that's going in terms of our Canadian politics, because that's going to be our future, right? So I want to spend more time producing this episodes and podcasts, and I want to bring in more successful people. I want to share more successful stories with our listeners, and obviously increase our viewership, right? And then get more subs and whatever. Right? As of now, that's my plan.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this brings a good end of the first recording in the year of 2025. Thank you so much, Meet,
Thank you so much
Ajesh,
for having me.
and Ashok.
Thank you.
And for those who are listening this podcast, if you like it, please share it with your friends and other active listeners, and subscribe to our ASA podcast.
Comment questions that we can discuss here.